As you can see, I now have the frame back in. Now, the same method for putting this bolt in right down the bottom is used for putting this one in a minute when we put the airflow pump thing jobby back in. As you can see now, it's difficult to get to the HT leads because the framework blocks it. So, you know, all this crap, although it would be fiddly to do, it's a lot easier to do the job with it out. As you can see, they just run neatly underneath. So, all good fun. So now what I'm going to do is proceed to tighten up all of these bolts so they're all nicely tight, and then once I've done that, I can put this bracket back on over here, which is there purely to hold this pipe as far as I can work out, and then put the blower back in, and then put 2 new fuel lines on, and then should start it. Here's wishing. See you in a bit. As you can see, I now have the frame back in. Now, the same method for putting this bolt in right down the bottom is used for putting this one in a minute when we put the airflow pump thing jobby back in. As you can see now, it's difficult to get to the HT leads because the framework blocks it. So, you know, all this crap, although it would be fiddly to do, it's a lot easier to do the job with it out. As you can see, they just run neatly underneath. So, all good fun. So now what I'm going to do is proceed to tighten up all of these bolts so they're all nicely tight, and then once I've done that, I can put this bracket back on over here, which is there purely to hold this pipe as far as I can work out, and then put the blower back in, and then put 2 new fuel lines on, and then should start it. Here's wishing. See you in a bit. Right, as I explained before, putting this blower on. Oops. As you can see, the third nut, which is somewhere right down there, as you can see, it's down there, I can just see it moving, little silver thing. Now the camera can see it, but I can't, so I'm using the other method of before of putting the nut into the socket. As you can see it in there, and this is going to be done by touch alone and feel, and we should get it done. Trial and error, maybe a bit of lost skin. See you in a bit. Just a small tip, as you can get some focus on, there we go. As a small tip, as you can see, the nut is quite a long way down inside the socket and won't actually reach the end of the threads when I put it on the blower. So what you do, you pop the second nut in, which brings it closer to the front. Then you go down, you put it on, get the first nut started so it stays onto the threads, and then you can take the second nut out and carry on doing it up with no problem. Okay, right, as you can see, I now have the blower reinstalled. We just connect these little clips back on. You can't get them wrong because it won't reach. Puts on, clips in. This one too. Clips in. That clip's broken, but the pipe's solid, so we're not going to be worried about it too much. Somebody had bodged the breather hose poke. You can see it in blue there. Comes from the breather from the bottom of the engine. So I've just got another piece of pipe, made a decent job of it. But I've noticed that this pipe is now against it. So what I might do is zip tie that on to stop it vibrating and damaging this hose. So you can't find things out like that till after you put it back together, but there you go. So quick zip tie around there, stop any vibration and wear and tear on that. Now, as you can see with this extra blower thing, whatever it's supposed to do, back on, you can now no longer see where the HT leads go. So any changing of the HT leads, which are down here somewhere. Where are they? Where are they? They're down there. There we go. Oh, look, there they are. There we go. See? It's just a silver box. That's the top of the HT leads. So as you can see, it's really accessible. And now you can see spark plugs are really accessible. You could probably get into that one and possibly even that one, but trying to get in here, yeah, not a bad in-house chance. So all this work, and all I ever wanted to do was change this piece, because this pipe was split and this pipe was split and this piece here fractures. So all I wanted to do was change this and this and this, but all that had to come off to fit this piece because it's designed by a moron that never has to work on engines. But there you go, that's German reliability for you. Built to last, never to come to bits. Now all I've got to do now is fit the bracket on that holds this pipe, which is this one, just goes on there like that, which is just 3 nuts, no real biggie, and then cut and fit and clip on the fuel lines and the little breather that comes over to whatever this gizmo does. Up at the top here you can just see that the pipes there, look, 1, 2, and these are the 2 fuel lines, top, bottom, and there's another little one there that goes around the back. And it's quite simple: top pipe, bottom pipe, top pipe, bottom pipe. They run as a matched pair, so you can't really get it wrong unless you're a complete and utter moron. And unfortunately there's plenty of them out there, so that's about it. I'm going to get it finished and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we're all back together. Everything's where it should be. We put the 2 new fuel lines on, all nice and tidy. New breather pipe there, doesn't really need clips on it, but yeah, whilst we're at it, it was perished. See, that zip tie there is not tight, it's just holding them so they don't rub against each other or anything else. These ones are zip tied up because this main pipe here helps to support those 2. There was a sheath around it to start with, but you have to cut that to get it off. As you can see, everything is back as it should be, done up tight. I've double checked everything is plugged in, done up and attached. The battery's still on charge because it was flat as a witch's tit, and hopefully in a minute it'll start. It probably won't start first time because obviously there's no fuel running through it at the moment, but we'll soon see, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay people, we're now going to see if it'll start. Oh, look at that. We are running. Very like a dream. Fans are spinning. Just checking for fuel leaks. Right. Okay, we have an engine management light on. Don't know why. We have an ESP light on. It's maybe because the battery's been flat and disconnected, I don't know. We're now ticking over nice and sweet. Everything seems to be running alright. Like I said, as for the engine management light and the traction control light, I have no idea. Probably because my son's been buggering about with it while things have been disconnected, but you know, till I've been for a drive I couldn't say. So, see you later people. Hi there, me again. Right, just been for a test drive. I'm now showered and cleaned. The ESP light and the management light went off. ESP light went off after I'd run it for a few seconds, turned the engine off, left it for a minute, turned it back on, started it. ESP light, traction control light went off. Engine management light stayed on. Went in, had a shower, 10-15 minutes, come back out, turned the ignition on, started it up, engine management light went straight out. Been for a test drive, runs as sweet as a nut.
Yeah.
This job is not for your DIY sort of enthusiast. You need a little bit of common sense and a good aptitude for your mechanics. It's not easy, it's very fiddly, and you really do need to know what you're doing. Other than that, good luck, have fun. If in doubt, hire a proper mechanic. Happy spannering.